Hi everyone, it's Chris here with a long overdue recent vinyl video, all New Zealand material, and I'll do a pretty quick run through. I've got some new releases, some reissues and some things that I found in the crates as well. Start off with the 7 inches, we might go up incrementally by size I think in this video. Princess Chelsea, We're So Lost, this is her new 7 inch. She's got an album coming out following on from Little Golden Book soon. This is a cover of Label Mates Voom, a song by them, We're So Lost, and then one of her own songs, When the World Turns Grey, on the B-side. It's just been released in a run of 300. This is a single by Scalander. They've got a great self-titled album. It came out a few years ago now, and they've been working on a follow-up. No word on when it will come out. This is released on Type. It's a couple of remixes, the Future Life remix and the Signer mix and the Muriel Trains mix of the song Future Life. A couple of remixes. Probably, you know, if you were venturing into Scalander, I'd say start with the album. They're probably not essential, these remixes, you know, but it was packaged up with something else that I got, so it was okay. Planet of the Tapes. I've showed records before by the Mysterious Tape Man. This is an offshoot of this. This is live at the Castle Takeaway. 4-track EP, and it's scuzzy, noisy, instrumental, garage punk rock, really. Good stuff. Bit of surf thrown in there as well. I've been looking out for something on vinyl by Rosie Parlane for ages, and Rosie Parlane is a guy from Auckland, New Zealand, who creates mainly long, kind of ambient noise, drone, experimental pieces. And this is, as far as I know, there might be some lathe cuts, but the only vinyl that he's released. It just came out this year. It's a single, 33 RPM, of Willow and Morning, and this came out on Touch Music. Second-hand pickup that I was really pleased to get, Balance. Balance were an Auckland hardcore band in the 90s, early 2000s. They were a lot of fun to go and see live. I'm not sure if I've shown this before or not, but yeah, a lot of fun to see live. And they put out a couple of singles. This one on blue vinyl, which is nice. That came out, I think, 300 copies, the first 100 on blue. When I bought it, I didn't actually know I was getting the blue version, so that was a nice surprise. And it's probably got my two favourite Balance songs on here. Hardcore Is My God, Truth, Respect and Spirit. They were great at the kind of, you know, I suppose it was pre-hardcore, going all growly vocals. This was good kind of mosh pit, shout-along hardcore. At the other end of the musical spectrum from hardcore is this, Tiny Ruins, Haunts. And the name kind of indicates what you get on here. It's kind of haunted folk pop from Tiny Ruins. And there is an album, Some Were Meant for Sea, which is a fantastic album, came out a couple of years ago. This EP is kind of outtakes, B-sides, some kind of demo recordings and so on, as a bit of a stopgap until the next album, but it really stands up. It's, you know, it's not a throwaway by any means, and this is out on Spunk Records from Australia. Again, it's limited, 300 copies. I've got number 35 here. Yeah, I love the song North of Greytown, Rolling Mill Blues. Yeah, I recommend that if you can get your hands on it. And another 10 inch, this is brand new, from the Drab Do Riffs. They're touring around the country, touring their kind of blues stomp, garage, blues punk, and they're doing a whole lot of release parties. But this was available as a pre-sale with tickets for a gig. You've got a bunch of tracks on here, 10 tracks I think, or 7 tracks on the 10 inch, and Aquatic Ape Theory, a nice follow-up from their earlier 7 inch EPs. And what we're listening to now is a testament to waiting. This is Roy Montgomery, Scenes from the South Island. and I think this is from the early to mid 90s. It is a whole lot of instrumental pieces, just Roy Montgomery, who was in the Pin group, Dada Ma, and other groups like that, and he originally on, I think it's Drunken Fish, instrumental pieces, him on guitar with a few effects pedals, and they're all of the pieces are about places in the South Island, and I've been after this for a long time, but as I say, you just wait, eventually it came up, and the price wasn't too bad, and I'm really, really pleased to have this. It's a beautiful record. It's kind of got very kind of intricate and thoughtful guitar playing, but it's got this element of kind of drone coming through it as well. Quite subtle, but yeah, giving it a kind of darkness. Now some reissues. Brian Crook, Bathysphere. First time out on vinyl, released by Meds. And yeah, Brian Crook, he was in, what was he in? He was in the Terminals, I think. He was in the Renderers, of course, and another earlier group as well. I was just gone from my head, but anyway, this is a solo record, first time out on vinyl. Again, another limited release, 400 copies of this, silkscreen sleeve. It's what you get. It's kind of like if you listen to a Renderers records, but just with the Brian songs and not the Mary Rose Crook songs. And to be honest, you know, I love the Renderers, and with Mary Rose, she's got that great voice, but he has some really fiery guitar playing. Maybe his singing's not up to what Mary Rose would do, but it is a really good album. And this is another first time on vinyl reissue from kind of Dunedin experimental musician Alistair Galbraith, Cry. This is kind of experimental, but it's quite mellow's not really the right word, but it's kind of quiet and yeah, thoughtful, I suppose. Beautiful record. Done a beautiful job of the cover, the inner sleeve, and yeah, pieces recorded between 1998 and 2000, and I think it originally came out on Ajax on CD during the 2000s sometime, and as I say, first time on vinyl. Another reissue, Peter Jeffries, Last Great Challenge in a Dull World. This recently got a write-up, I think it might be on Pitchfork as a best reissue, and this is kind of piano-based, dark, yeah, great record. And he was in a bunch of things, Peter Jeffries, sometimes with his brother within the Cake Kitchen, and he's done records with Shane Carter and so on, but I highly recommend this. And finally, I was in Wellington recently and had a really short little time break at lunch, and so I managed to get over to Cubitt Street to the record stores and just had a fantastic run of record shopping. I only had 30 minutes, I got to 3 stores, I bought records in 2 of them, 5 records in 30 minutes, and what a pickup. So I got this, HDU, High Dependency Unit, Abstinence Delicacy, 45 on Flying Nun from 1995, which means I've now got all of the HDU which is out on vinyl. The Magic Heads, the back of her hand, classic Flying Nun single. Magic Heads, which is Jane Dodd, who was in Toy Love, Robert Scott from the Bats, David and David. I'm not sure which Davids they are actually. Anyway, the Magic Heads, produced by Steve Kilroy, great Flying Nun single, and those were both cheap as, way cheaper than I could get them online. Picked up Las Tetas, You're Not Invited, brand new record on 112 Records, and 112003. This is a single-sided kind of, yeah, this is pretty ferocious garage punk from this three-piece female band from Auckland. They've got an album coming out, and on the strength of this, it's going to be awesome. Also found this from the 80s, The Family Mallet, Bush's Bottom. I first came across this record in a local cafe here on Waiheke Island that has a turntable, so you can go in, order your coffee, put on some of the records. This is kind of arty, experimental, indie jazz from the Wellington in the early 80s. It's fantastic. I heard it in that cafe, and then I found a second-hand copy in Slowboat in Wellington, so I picked that up. And also in the same shopping run, picked up this Signer. The Signer's had a few albums out. This is the album from, when did it come out? 2004. And this album, some of the other Signer stuff is more electronic. This has got more guitar in it. It's kind of electronic, treated, affected with guitars, programming. Great album. Mainly instrumental, but there are vocals on here as well. And I've been after this one for a while. It's been pretty pricey to bring in from overseas, so to find it in a New Zealand store at a great price was really rapt. So it was a great run of shopping. A quick run through what I've picked up, and keep an eye out on facebook.com/countingthebeat, where I post vinyl news and also links to the radio show. I'm doing a radio show tonight. I'll be playing a bunch of these records on that, so you'll be able to find a podcast of that there, and other news as well. So cheers, thanks for your comments and feedback, and thanks for watching.